Our village is quite old, several centuries old. For many years it was a quiet, secluded place, surrounded by fields and forests. The only thing that disturbed the peace of this almost paradise was the railroad a couple of miles from the village. Just beyond it was the cemetery. About 30 years ago a terrible incident happened here, which is still being talked about. Amanda and Marcus had been friends since childhood, and when they grew up, they fell in love and decided to get married. But Marcus did not live to see the wedding. One day, when he and his friends were celebrating someone's birthday and were pretty drunk, the buddies got into a fight, and Marcus was stabbed to death. They buried the boy in the same cemetery behind a railroad. The man responsible for his death, coincidentally, received a short sentence of only a few years. Unable to cope with such a loss, Amanda withdrew into herself, spoke little and disappeared for days at the grave of her dead fiancé. One evening the girl did not return home, and everyone went in search of her. Amanda's body was found on the railroad tracks. The girl's body had been cut in half. Amanda's death was considered suicide, so because of superstition she was buried outside the cemetery. Several years passed, and Marcus's killer got out of prison. He decided to celebrate his return in his backyard. He gathered his friends and had a feast. Just outside the courtyard was a field where wheat was being sown. When dusk fell on the field, the boy and his two buddies got drunk and decided to go to the cemetery. It is worth noting that not only was he unrepentant about what he had done, but he also hated the late Marcus for having served time in prison through his fault. Alcohol finally finished him off, and the guy went to the cemetery with the express purpose of desecrating the dead man's grave. Finding Marcus's final resting place, the boys broke the cross, tore the mourning ribbons hanging from it, and trampled the flowers that Amanda had lovingly cared for during the last months of her life. Then they uncorked a bottle of whiskey they had brought with them.
"Here's to you, Marcus,"
shouted one of them, poured the contents of the bottle over the grave, and then smashed it against the remains of the fallen cross. The vandals, having had their fun, headed back, but their way was blocked by a locomotive that was passing along the road. When the train passed and the boys crossed the tracks, they saw that a freshly trampled path stretched far into the field. It was almost dark by then, and the sight seemed strange, so the boys went home as fast as they could. But before they had gone 100 yards, they heard an eerie scream somewhere nearby. They froze in shock, and then they saw the wheat ears rustling and sagging as if someone was stepping on them, but there was nothing in sight. The rustling sound got closer and closer, and when the invisible creature was a couple of meters away from them, the boys rushed to run. It did not retreat and pursued the fugitives with enviable swiftness. One of them turned and screamed in horror. Behind them stood something low and crawling on its elbows, leaving a trail of blood behind it. Long, bloody hair covered its face. The creature paused for a moment, threw back its hair, and then the friends recognized Amanda. Or rather, what was left of her. Growling and banging her elbows on the loose earth, she caught up with them. Catching up with two of them, she grabbed the ankles of Marcus's killer, and the man who had spilled whiskey on his grave. They screamed, the wheat rustled, and everything fell abruptly silent. The only survivor did not reach the village until morning. Pale and scratched, he collapsed on the doorstep of his house. The corpses of the others were found near the railroad. They had been hacked in half. Local residents tried to explain their deaths by the fact that they were drunk and died under the wheels of a train. With a stretch of the imagination, this version was accepted. But no one could explain where the blood trail that stretched from the train tracks to Marcus's desecrated grave came from.